Welcome back to Floating Head Chronicles, and this here is Candace Chapman Scott. She has just been sentenced to 15 years in federal prison for, wait for it. Alright, so she was a Alabama mortuary worker. Of course it would happen in Bama because they be doing some weird shit. But she was hawking body parts to a collector. You can read about it. She met him on a Facebook group that talked about the sales of body parts, and she joined in. Now, the judge mentioned at the sentencing that this is some of the worst that he's ever seen. Now, as you can see, these are some of the parts in question that were sold between 2021 and 2022. Now, the collector was an oddity collector. Paid her $10,625 for 24 parts. You know, I have nothing. So obviously when that house was searched, they found several body parts, and she admitted to bagging them at her job. And this is where it gets more sick and twisted. There was wrong ashes from the crematory returned to parents. And they actually didn't know that their child wasn't in those ashes, that they had taken the fetus and sold it. So imagine learning that the cremated remains of your child given to you after their death were not actually those of your child. Instead, the FBI recovered the body of a child in another state. That is shocking. This is crazy. It was these people's actual child. Like, they went through trauma losing a child, and then the whole time they're thinking they have their child, and they don't, and their child's being sent through the postal service everywhere. Like, how crazy. Man, you can't trust anything these days. Now here's Jeremy Pauley. This is the guy that's collecting the body parts, and I try not to judge people, but he definitely looks like he would collect body parts. And I'm only just saying that because if you could put a needle and get a tattoo in your eyeball, you literally give no fucks. But why? Here's another gem, kind of a cross between Freddy Krueger and just psychopath, in my opinion, you know? Now, of course, once she gets caught, she's sobbing during the sentencing, and she's apologizing for the victims' families and everybody that was hurt in the situation. And obviously 15 years, they threw that right at her. I mean, granted, if it was my child or family member, I'd be pretty upset myself and would want justice for that. However, 15 years, okay, I see that, but I feel like there are other crimes that should be punishable for that length of time, and people do not get that. You know, children that are abused and women that are abused, those people get a slap on the wrist, and the victims are literally ruined for the rest of their lives. Most of them don't make it out mentally from that situation, and we really need to be better at our justice system. I wish all of them got handled this exact way. We're still waiting on what's going to happen with the buyer. He is on bond waiting for sentencing and pled guilty to receiving the stolen property. Why they say property like that? It's this whole thing is just morbid and irky and weird. But this is what we live in, y'all. Now, I'm curious what you guys think. I mean, no offense to anybody that works in a mortuary, but I feel like anybody that does that has some morbid sense to them, because I know that I don't want to do that at all. I'm actually, even when there's no bodies in there, I don't want to be there. So kudos to the ones that do this work and actually do their job correctly and make sure that the families have a good last experience with their loved one. But shame on you, woman. Wow, how do you do that and sleep? So good luck with your 15 years. But y'all, drop me a message and let me know what y'all think, because what?